Philip Schuhart, this is CaveWhere, and this is a quick tutorial on how to add TopoDroid data into CaveWhere. So out here at E53, we want to add some new survey data, both the plan and profile from a TopoDroid survey. So how we're going to do that is first we're going to open up TopoDroid. So I'm going to show you, here's one of our surveys, continuing off of E53, and you want to go to the hamburger menu, go to survey info, and we're going to export this as a Survex file. You can import Survex files into CaveWhere, but you have to use them in a new project. So we're going to go ahead and save that, and it's going to save this to your Android device. I'm using Android Studio here to kind of simulate a Android device, and inside of your Android device, an SD card and documents, there's a folder called TDX. Inside of TDX is TopoDroid, and then your survey, and then finally you're going to have your Survex file. It's kind of annoying to get Survex files and SVG files off of TopoDroid on an Android phone onto a Mac, but I've been able to do it with MacDroid, and they kind of want you to pay for it, but you can get around the payments. It's just kind of annoying. Another thing you can do is use Google Drive to move these files between your Android phone and your Mac. Of course, you'll have to have internet to do that. That's why MacDroid is a great way to do it. So once you have your Survex file, you also need to export the SVG files for both your plan and profile. So we have a profile here, and you just go to export, and instead of Therion, you want to do SVG. And then it's really important to get the scale right. Here I have 1 to 100. That usually works pretty well. Sometimes if it's smaller passage, you want to do 1 to 50. That'll get all the little details that the sketcher may have included in the sketch. Sometimes if you go higher than 1 to 100, you kind of lose that fine grain pencil strokes for letters and other things like that. So again, you go and save that. That'll save that into your file directory. We can go ahead and switch it to profile and go ahead and export that as well. So here's our SVG, same 1 to 100, and export that. So if we go back to our file explorer, now we refresh this thing, you'll see both the plan and the profile. We overwrote what I had before. You want to get those onto your Mac somehow, like I talked about before. So in CaveWhere, if you still have the old project file open that you want to add, at this point, this is where the process gets a little convoluted. I'm using the development version of CaveWhere. This is the only place where TopoDroid data and Survex kind of will work. If you're using 2025.2 without a big long string behind it, this process won't work. So you have to use the development version. The best way to get the development version is to go to GitHub, and inside of GitHub, there's actions. If you click on actions up here, basically these are automatically built whenever I push a new commit. So for example, if I want the Windows version, if I click on this build here, there'll be a Windows installer, and you can just go ahead and download this. And this will download to your computer. There's also Linux binaries as well up here. We go to actions again, and in Linux, there's an app image. For Mac, I tend to like to sign my Mac binaries, so I don't actually have these in GitHub Actions. They're also really expensive to make on GitHub. So if you want a Mac version, just let me know, and I can build one for you. All right, so getting back to adding that center line that we exported for Survex into CaveWhere off of E53, what we want to do is actually create a new file. So when we create a new file, all our information is gone, and we want to go to data and import the Survex file. So once you click on the Survex file that you want to import, which is the eSurvey, we're going to open this, and we want to import this as a cave. or sorry, we want to import it as a trip because it is a single trip. So we're going to import that guy, and it's going to produce a cave. And then you can see all the survey data from the survey trip. And of course, we'll get the center line. Of course, you want to connect this to the rest of the cave. So how you can do that with this development version, the development version has changed the file format, so this is possible now. So at this point, you want to go ahead and save this project. And we're just going to make a kind of a temporary project. Hopefully in the future, this will change because this is a kind of convoluted process, but you want to make a temporary project. We're going to say, we're going to save it. So once it's saved, go ahead and close CaveWhere. And if we look at our, where did that go? Yeah, so I put it in the wrong place. That's okay. I'll move it over here. So we have our eSurvey temp. This is the temporary project that we made for that single trip. And if you go into trips, you'll see our eSurvey right here. And this actually has all the cave data in it. You can actually see this in a text file. If we close all this stuff, this is what the survey trip looks like with all the cave data. So you have distances and compasses and clinos. That's all the survey data that was imported from Survex. At this point, what's cool is that CaveWhere has changed into kind of a directory structure. So we can take this survey, eSurvey 4 directory, and we just can copy it inside of Finder, Explorer, whatever file system you're using here, and go into our main cave survey and just go to trips, and we'll just paste it in here. Now, once it's pasted, CaveWhere actually scans these directories and tries to find all the CaveWhere files, all the trip data. So once you have it in the trips directory, it'll automatically find eSurvey 4. So if we open CaveWhere again, and we open that survey, let's see here, we need to open it. Here's the file. Now you can see we were off of E53. Now we got that center line in here. So that looks really good. Super easy to import. Well, I don't know if it's super easy, but to import Survex files one by one into here. So now that you have your centerline data, we want to get our plan and profile from TopoDroid into here. So going back to our eSurvey, I've brought in those SVG files. I'm going to show you what it looks like directly off of TopoDroid. So if you if you export directly off of TopoDroid with an SVG, one of the issues is it just doesn't look that nice. And I really like to clean these up so they look nice in CaveWhere. So one of the things I'll do is I'll actually move all the stations out of the way. Oops, I believe you have to, let's see here, click on that guy. I will, oops, try it again. I'll move all the stations out of the way. And then I'll actually select these different paths to make them look a little nicer. So if you go into fill and same layers, if you select same layers and say, okay, I want to select all the same looking layer, which is all our walls, we can go up here into fill and stroke. And instead of red, I don't really like red. I'm going to do straight black, and I'm going to change my stroke size to something a little bit bigger, maybe 3. And that's 3 pixels. And I'm going to do the same thing with the splays and all the inside stuff. So again, I believe the splays are actually in a splay directory. Let's see if that's the case. Yes. So all the splays are in the same thing because they use the same line width as everything else. So we want to select all these guys. Oh, that's on that scrap. Let's see. We'll see if this works. Oh, there's the splays. Okay, hold on 1 second. Splays. All right, so these are all the splays that are selected. I like those pretty darn small because I don't think they're that useful. Probably too small there. 0.5. So now you can see the splays are really small. And I want to select all the other paths that are in here. And same layer, select all those guys. 0.2 is okay. I don't really like the the color. So I kind of like it a little offset. And so now you can kind of see, okay, this is looking a little better. And of course the cross sections are in the way, so I'll move those around. So for example, here's all our stations, and let's see here, scraps, cross sections. Say if we clicked on one of these cross sections, I can move this guy out of the way. He's down here. So I can move these around and just kind of go through and clean this all up, put text in, and eventually what it will look like if we open something that I've actually worked on before, this is the kind of final cleanup that what I'm kind of getting after. It's a lot easier to read than the original. So once you have it all cleaned up there, you can go into CaveWhere, and similarly to paper sketches, go into our survey, and we can add notes. So we have our notes from the survey, and we'll add the plan and profile. So then now you have both the plan and profile. The new developer version supports SVGs a lot better. You can actually change how the SVGs are rasterized. This value should probably be at 96 for SVG resolution. Anything higher, it doesn't really buy you all that much, but you can always increase this. I need to figure out like where the best memory balance is, but a lower number here will make CaveWhere use less memory. Anyways, so in the carpeting, of course, you just do it the same way as you do for paper sketches. Do the outline. I'm doing this rapid fire. Usually I like to have it a little bit cleaner than this, and then you want to start adding stations. So our stations are already in here, and 54 and E55, and you want to do that for all the stations. And of course, it'll automatically start carpeting it. So we only did E54. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's why I did a poor job of actually, yeah, there we go. Of course, you want to do it for all the stations, but we're going to do it really rapid fire for the profile as well. So we'll add the scrap in here for this whole thing. All right. And again, here's E55 and E56. And of course, you want to make this probably a running profile, and it'll start putting that profile in. So that's kind of the overall idea of adding TopoDroid data into CaveWhere. Again, you want to export to Survex, import, and then bring in your scans after they're cleaned up in Inkscape. Okay, till next time.